2022 at, looks like 6:04. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Starting with committee business, let's review, discuss, act applicants for solid waste committee. We have 3, Sean Urban, Thomas Pius, Ray Haig, and a recommendation of new member, Board of Selectmen. 2 recommendations.
So, Sean Urban, we discussed at the last meeting. He is going for his capstone project from college right now, so he's looking to do something for financial and public administration to put it together. So he's going to be the number cruncher for the committee. Tom Pyers is the former chairman of the Board of Health, been also a selectman, been around town for a while, knows a lot about the program. Ray Haig is our veterans agent who's coming out of Fall River, and I think it's in his letter that he dealt with the municipal solid waste program there. So all 3 of them have a lot of knowledge, a lot of benefits, but we only have 1 open slot. Sean Urban has inclined that this is for his capstone project, which will be done by December. So he says he'll stay on to help or whatever, but he's perfectly fine just being the data cruncher and not being a voting member of the board, because he's more there for the data than he is for the voting. So as a way to try and get everybody's knowledge, but yet not turn anybody away. But so out of the other 2, again, they both have their pluses and their minuses, but they both honestly are very more pluses than minuses for both of them. But the committee is only 9. So.
How long is a term for somebody sitting on this solid waste committee?
I don't believe a term was established, but it's usually an annual appointment by the board, but I feel like this one might have been a 2-year appointment. Aren't you on 2-year appointments now for your committees? 3?
Trying to increase it to 3.
Yeah, but right now it was like 1 and it might be 2 for the solid waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because you eventually want to stagger it.
And then all we're doing is recommending to the selectmen who we want. And then it's up to them to decide who they want. But, like I say, that Sean Urban, we need his input, we need his knowledge.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that, if, as a member of the Board of Health here, I'm gonna recommend Sean Urban. Only because, new blood,
Mhm.
he's doing his capstone, which means he's gonna be really focusing on getting it done and getting it done right. And then he can take that knowledge and he can bring that to the committee for his 2-year appointment. So that's.
Well,
He was, so I had sat in the meeting, with him, and he was perfectly fine not being a member. And it had almost sounded like he was just gonna dissolve himself from it after his capstone anyways.
Oh, that's not fair to somebody who would sit on it for 2 years.
Yeah, so that's my only thing with him, and I really appreciated the fact that he was willing to not be a member and to still work with everyone.
yeah, I was going to say that too. I was there, and he was very happy with that, and that's basically what he was here for.
But I agree. All 3 of them would make strong
Yeah,
members. But
exactly.
he's bringing, yes, the new blood, the ability to manipulate spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff.
Could you appoint him as a member until he dissolves and then appoint one of these guys after? If he's only here till December, and then they could take on the rest of his, and then they could take on the
Yeah,
rest of his.
that's more a question for the selectmen, but
And then-
No.
And then-
When you have a vacancy,
Yep,
you make a recommendation to us. And I can't speak for the other 2 guys. We're not gonna micromanage, I mean, especially something like this. You make a recommendation, I know I will support it.
I
All
mean-
3 fine individuals, but
That would
that's
be-
your call. So you tell me who you want, and I will vote.
because I mean,
And-
he may catch the bug and wanna stay.
Yep. And I'll say this, whoever you do appoint, I'm gonna talk the other 2 into still coming to the meetings anyway, because I want their input. Just like we want the selectmen input, even if they're not on the committee, or any town resident if they wanna show up. We need input. These are some heavy decisions that need to be made. And the more bodies that we can chime in now, the better off we'll be in the future, so.
I know, Tom's been very good, he was good with the Board of Health. But speaking to Ray, he had a lot of experience with Fall River. He wrote and passed city ordinances concerning municipal solid waste and recycling, and that's where we're going now. We're trying to upgrade, and his experience is phenomenal. And also working with the install and monitoring well at the landfill site too. He knows that end of it too, the monitoring, which we have to do for EPA, right? We have to do a lot of that, and he's got a lot of experience with that.
Very knowledgeable man.
Really, and all three of them are great. I mean, it'd be fantastic if we could get all three to help us out here. But we only have one seat available.
Unless the selectmen wanted to make it an 11-member committee, but I don't see the need for that.
No! I know the more the merrier, but that's too many more.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite.
It won't be merrier, that's
No.
for sure.
So Nicole, any thoughts?
I know.
This is a hard one. So after sitting and listening to Sean, I was fine with him not being on just because he seemed fine, because he would be my first choice, other than if he hadn't mentioned that he wouldn't be fine. Just because of the things that he brought up during the meeting, the numbers and stuff, he really seemed really knowledgeable. Other than that, I don't know. This is a hard decision.
Well, then if you appoint Sean, then you don't have to decide between the other two
Yeah, I know.
Until December.
until December.
Yeah, and that's too short.
Well, his capstone ends, but he did say he would stay on this. My feeling is the solid waste committee is gonna be at least around until 2025, when the CMAS contract runs out, the Borges contract, where we bring the trash for incineration and the curbside hauler. Those are both running out in 2025, so I think this is a 3-year commitment for this committee. So, yes, if he's willing to stay on, which he said he was, because he is a resident of town, so.
Do we have a motion? Can I make a motion?
No, you
No.
can't.
I
You
didn't
can
think I
entertain a
could.
motion.
I can entertain a motion. I'd like to entertain a motion to nominate Raymond Haig to present to the selectmen to fill our vacancy on the Board of Solid Waste Committee. Do I hear a second?
No, that's not. You didn't
No,
make a
I don't
motion.
do that
You
either.
don't make motions.
Okay. Entertain a motion then.
Does anybody have another motion they'd like to make? But if we don't make any choice, then the selectmen are gonna make an appointment without a recommendation from the Board of Health.
That is correct.
So, if the board chooses not to decide, that is fine also.
It'll be one of these three, but
I think if, I think if we don't make a recommendation, that's showing that we're weak, actually. I think we should.
Totally agree with you.
It doesn't matter what we recommend, the selectmen may choose something else.
They may.
So,
not this one.
Uh,
I won't do
I'm
that.
just saying they have the ability to do whatever they want to, so.
I just feel like, I mean, I understand that he said he would be willing, but I think he'd have more investment if he was an actual member of the committee than if he was just here to do his capstone.
So are you making that a motion?
I will make a motion to appoint Sean Urban.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Can I have a vote?
Yes.
Aye.
I go nay. So,
So, and again, the other two,
Two passes.
if the selectmen do make this appointment, I'm gonna reach out to them, still ask them to continue to come to meetings and give us their input, because we need it. But again, I would've done the same thing if it was anybody else, so.
And if he bangs out in December, if he bangs in December, then that opens the door for
Yep.
us to appoint
You have a vacancy.
the Ray
The
Haig.
board could appoint alternate members, that's not part of the committee makeup, but the board of selectmen could do that.
that's a
I mean, I'll make a
possibility.
motion to appoint Ray Haig as an alternate member.
I mean, I don't know if the committee's set up that way or not, if we can do that, but
It isn't it's set up that way right now.
That doesn't mean we can't make it that way.
Stormwater set the precedent.
We've
They
got so
did
many.
that with the planning board alternate.
No, it wasn't an alternate member on the committee. There was still only one seat on the commit, on
Right,
the committee.
and then
Mhm.
they also brought in an alternate member.
Joe Figueredo, I think.
Yes, that's correct. Woody is the member, and Joe became the alternate, because Woody said the meetings go on forever,
Mhm.
and he wasn't going to go to all of them. So the precedent has been set. Whether you want to do that, again, that is up to you.
But if you do that and Sean bangs, then you just move Ray up into, and that's.
So you.
I make a motion
that was
to
a
make
motion.
Ray Haig an alternate member of the Solid Waste Committee.
Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Under discussion,
Any discussion?
did you, in your motion, specify that the alternate is a non-voting member?
I make a motion that Ray Haig be appointed as an alternate, non-voting member of the Solid Waste Committee.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Could I have a vote?
Yay.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Now, I,
Doing the same thing with Tom
Monday.
Byers or not? Just asking. Before we move
One's
on.
enough.
What's the disadvantage of not doing it?
There is no disadvantage, I don't think, and Tom has been around, he's got a lot of knowledge, so if you'd like to make a motion.
I motion to make Tom Pyers,
To recommend the appointment.
to recommend the appointment of Tom Pyers as, was it an alternate? Is that what it was? An
Non-voting.
alternate,
Non-voting.
non-voting member of the Solid Waste Committee.
Second.
Discussion? Could I have a vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes.
I'm going to, I have a meeting with Michael tomorrow to set the agenda. But what I'll need from Roz for Monday by 4:30 is a letter to Mike or Karen, you know, what you just voted on.
Oh, sure.
So we will do it on the meeting the 14th.
Going on to committee business. Review, discuss, act, emergency preparedness. Committee request to dissolve committee.
So the Emergency Preparedness Committee is a subcommittee of the Board of Health. At some point in the past, the Board of Health, Board of Selectmen were together, and one of the selectmen kind of ran the committee. When we separated, it came into the Board of Health. It is generally, like 99% of the time, it's with the fire department to run emergency preparedness. And obviously, as we were talking about trying to shed some of the workload out of the Board of Health office, the fire department said that they would take over emergency preparedness. Because they're taking it over, we don't need the subcommittee anymore. So the subcommittee did vote that they don't feel the need to exist anymore, that the fire chief is now the emergency preparedness director and it's his show. And so they're asking that the Board of Health dissolve the emergency preparedness committee.
I make a motion to dissolve the Emergency Preparedness Committee as requested by you guys. As requested by the committee.
So the only, not to stop you, but I don't know if we have the authority to dissolve it or if the selectmen have to dissolve it. So we're just recommending the dissolution of the.
All right, so I'll
Send
make,
us a letter based on.
Yeah, but I don't know if we have to or not. Like, can the board dissolve our own subcommittee or does the selectmen have to dissolve the subcommittee?
As part of the reorganization, yes, we would need to participate.
Okay, so it changes your motion a little bit.
yes, I'll make a motion to send notification to the Board of Selectmen with regards to the dissolving of the Emergency Preparedness Committee as requested by the Emergency Preparedness Committee.
I like that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Could we have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Next is to review, discuss, act on transfer station attendant wage increase.
So we've kicked around this a few times. Right now, our transfer station attendant is currently paid $17.56 an hour. He has a lot of responsibility down there. He's got to do a lot of face-to-face contact with people who, I don't want to say are hostile, it's not that. He's not running into a lot of that, but are disagree with him on some of what he does, because a lot of what he does is also discretionary. And he's taking on a lot of responsibility. He's also now the chairman of our solid waste committee. I personally think that he needs a raise. I think he needs to be above $20 an hour. So we looked at the budget, and we have $1,000 on the bottom of the page, an additional hours overtime line in the budget. Well, that would be for the backup person to cover, or if we're using DPW workers, that kind of thing. Historically, DPW workers have worked the overtime shifts, and it's being paid under the DPW budget. So we never spend the $1,000. So we're looking to spend that $1,000 in that budget line to give the transfer station attendant a raise for the rest of the year. You'll also see on the line there, I also think that we need 2 attendants on Saturdays, because it's so busy that they can't keep an eye on everybody, and people are constantly dumping stuff in places they shouldn't. But that's not for today. That would be when we get to January that we would want to add them. But I think the solid waste committee will be weighing in on this, saying we want this, and then we'll be able to add it in the budget when we get to January. I just wanted you to be aware, if we put, because whatever we pay the head attendant, we'll call him, and then the assistant, I'm assuming the assistant would be less than that, but I wanted you to see how much it would cost if we brought in a person at that rate for the entire year. So I just gave you a couple scenarios. If we did $20 an hour and $21 an hour, that's how much his yearly salary would go to, and then the line below would be the difference for this year. So we have up to $1,000 to spend, and you can see I've got November 1st start or a December 1st start. So I don't know what the board thinks would be the right rate to pay, but you can see kind of where I was aiming at, and obviously the sooner we could start, the better. Whatever we do, I want this person in there by Christmas, because after Christmas gets very busy. So.
And how did we come to this pay rate? Did we look at other towns, or?
Nope, I just felt that it personally didn't need to be over $20 an hour. And again, this is the money we have for this year. When we get to January, we can, if you want, we can do some research to find out what these people are getting paid. I know when I go to Berkeley, there's 5 attendants working on a Saturday. But they have separate bins for different things and all that. So, but we can find out some numbers for what they are. But again, this is just to get them $1,000 this year.
I make a motion to increase the transfer station attendant wage increase for a November 1 start.
And how much are you gonna give them for?
$20 an hour.
$20 an hour for November 1st.
Because I think you save the 21, this is just my opinion, you save the 21, just, you're gonna give him a raise, he's gonna feel great, we need to make sure he continues his momentum,
Yeah.
I know he'll be very happy with the backup, but we'll get to that later, so, okay.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes. Would you like to fast track this?
All we have to do is, once we approve these minutes, we give it to the town accountant, and that's all we need.
Oh, okay.
We've
So we
already
don't-
talked to the town accountant about it, so.
Okay, so we don't have to approve, where it's within your budget, we don't. so
Correct,
we don't have to
you're not
approve.
involved, but we have to approve these minutes in order for her to do it, so, because it's November 1st, in our October meeting, we sign the minutes, and then it would all go into effect on November 1st, so. I forgot to mention that we had already.
Okay, that's fine. Could I have a vote, please?
aye.
Aye.
I also aye it. Motion is passed.
I also aye it.
I also aye it.
I'm not going to bring this up at the Board of Selectmen.
Nope.
No.
Less said the better.
So we were taking care of it in-house,
Yes.
so we don't need any help.
So,
This is a good one. Review, discuss, act, mattress disposal contract and transfer station disposal fee.
Make a motion that we table this for now?
Yeah.
Yes, so the Solid Waste Committee is still dealing with it. We've gotten 2 proposals from mattress companies, haulers, so hopefully we can get it for under $50 a mattress instead of the current $90. Right now, our trash hauler Borges is taking the mattresses apart himself in doing it, and he's only charging us $25 a piece, so we're still doing pretty good right now. But we need a new company, but the solid waste committee needs to do some research, because one of the bids involves us having our own container to store mattresses in, where the other company, you have to rent their container. So we have to sort some stuff out before it comes up to the Board of Health. And the same thing with the transfer station fees. We're still waiting for Mr. Urban to finish his analysis. I gave this to the, oh, that one's light, here's the darker ones.
Doesn't matter.
These are the, this was the overview of the, you've already seen this, but I don't know if you want to look at it now. So the far yellow is our curbside cost and revenue. You see down below, the revenue includes the trash bags, the costs of Borges Brothers, and disposal costs at CMAS and New Bedford Waste. The orange column's transfer station, you see below where we get our income. Then the blue is the total program. You go across and you can see what percentages the program covers. So transfer station is almost about covering itself, and I think with some minor increases in fees, we can get that covered. But you can see the trash bag cost. You see how it jumped from 66% to 77%. We were seeing the trend go down, and that's when we raised the price of trash bags, so we could get back up to where we were historically, but it's never covered 100% of the cost. And of course the entire curbside program, because recycling is free. That's why the revenues only cover about 50% of the cost of the program. So there's a lot of stuff that Solid Waste Committee has to figure out, and fees is part of it, and that kind of stuff. And so again, we're just gonna wait till they see that, but there's the numbers that were presented. So yes, at this time, tabling would be in order.
Could I have a motion
I made a motion.
I made a motion to
table
table it?
Oh, did I second it? If I didn't, I second it. I don't remember.
I may have interrupted.
Any more discussion on this? Could I have a vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
And we make it passed SII. Other items not reasonably anticipated.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Sorry.
Board of Health holiday meeting
Review,
schedule.
oh yeah, we've gotta do this one. Review, discuss, act, Board of Health holiday meeting schedule.
So our next meeting is October 13th, which is fine. But the meeting after that is on November 10th. Town Hall is closed on November 10th in observation of Veterans Day on November 11th. So having the meeting on that Thursday night would be problematic for Roz and I, because we'd be on holiday time. So we were looking to relocate that meeting potentially to another Thursday, either like the 3rd or the 17th.
The 3rd is my husband's first anniversary, so I won't
Nope.
attend.
Yeah.
So, and then the 24th, of course, is Thanksgiving. So
Wait, what about the 17th?
that's what I'm saying. So
Oh, okay.
17th would be.
I'll make a motion to move the November meeting to the 17th of November.
Do we know that that's not planning or
Oh my God.
conservation or anybody?
You ask all the difficult questions.
No, you moved to another building.
Oh, that's true.
You don't know?
That's
Yeah, right
true.
now the location doesn't need to be determined.
There's a Concom meeting at 7.
Oh, there you go. So we can meet at prime time, because that room's big enough to handle this many people. And Laura, would that be okay for cable to be over there?
Over there, we just have the Zoom set up, so it would have to be recorded on Zoom.
So we could do Zoom, that's fine.
Oh, we'll just go, oh, we'll just zoom
It
in?
has that
Works for me.
computer/TV.
So I can do it from
program
home?
there.
No.
You could do it from home, but we prefer you to be here.
We'd
Oh.
love for you to be
Oh, I
here
thought you were
with
talking
us.
about it was on Zoom.
No, we're using Zoom as a recording mechanism.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's all.
I thought, no, didn't
I
they
love
end
Zoom.
that anyone we could do Zoom, but we can't attend by Zoom. Didn't that end?
They
Oh,
extended
no,
it.
they
Mhm.
extended
Oh, they
it.
extended it? I
Yep,
missed
they
that.
extended
Alright.
it, yep.
Mark was supposed to.
Are you going
The
to-
thing I would worry about is if there's a CPC
Oh.
meeting, because they usually meet the same day as Concom. It's just not on the meeting calendar right now.
Can we meet earlier?
I was just gonna say, what if we
Can we-
just, if we meet?
Yeah, but we're Zooming, so we can meet anytime we want. You wanna do
Do you wanna do
4:30 again?
4:30?
Yeah.
Would that be, they usually meet later?
Yeah, we close at 3 for prime time, so.
So 4:30, we could probably meet here.
What date is
Well, right now we're just setting the
17th
time, so
of
we can.
November.
Actually, and if it is at 4:30, I'm gonna be able to come here and record it.
Oh, that would be nice.
Somebody has a new job.
That would be awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So do I need to send you like, an email request for, cable to video?
If you could, just as a reminder.
Sure.
That'd be awesome.
Let's see. And then December,
Would be the 8th.
our meeting would be the 8th, which should be fine, except we may or may not be in that housing training. That's that housing training in Westboro. That would be the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, did she give dates?
No, she said it would be the first week.
Oh,
And I
okay.
know it's like a 3-day training, so I put in the 6th, 7th, 8th, but we don't know yet. We don't
Okay.
have it finalized. But for now, we only need to move, looking ahead, we wanted to move November, so we're good.
Okay. Do I have a motion on that?
I think
Or
we're
do I
good.
need a
I
motion?
made a motion already
I'll
for the
second
that.
17th.
You second?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion on this? Could I have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And the motion passes. Other items not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance. Yes, Mr. Howell?
Does anyone, earlier we talked about the overtime situation.
Yeah.
Are you meeting with Michael next week before the Board of Selectmen meeting?
I hope so.
Yeah, we don't
We
have
haven't
anything
heard
scheduled,
anything,
but-
we haven't scheduled any, we usually try to meet on Thursdays,
Because you were
but,
on the agenda for the Wednesday
Mhm.
about the
So hopefully we
reorganization
will.
and the job description.
mm-hmm.
Talk to him about item 5A as well as the overtime situation
Yes.
Okay.
and how he wants to handle that. If we can do that on the Wednesday, or if that's something he wants to have as a separate item on a separate agenda. But I'd like to deal with it ASAP. That's my own personal feel.
Okay,
Because it's,
thank you for that input.
I think this board needs to have some projections how much they're going to need to finish the fiscal year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're almost running out, so you're gonna take an educated guess about how much additional overtime money you're going to need.
Yeah, I know a lot of the inspections we do, that I know Matt's done a few of them, but they're usually in the spring, summer, fall. That's when we have weekend carnivals and that kind of stuff to inspect. Usually in the winter, it's not quite as many. But as of like right now, I have like 18 hours of overtime left for the year. So I only have 33 to start, so.
But if they change your job description and move your hours, that would be all good.
Well,
Yes.
see,
Yeah.
that's,
And we do the reorganization and all of that.
So last year,
Right.
I only had $1,000 worth of overtime, and this year it was up to 2,000. So that was quite helpful.
I think when you put together the presentation for the selectmen, you need to put the funding, you need to put the dollar figure on it, because you can't have them
Mhm.
guessing how much it's gonna cost,
Mhm.
so. I do think that,
yeah.
Definitely take that into account.
I mean, one of the things, honestly, is the Board of Health meetings. So it's once a month, but it's a couple hours. If I do overtime for it, which is when I first started here, that's what it was. And it's kind of gone away because we've been flexing our time, because my whole contract negotiation was, no, we need to flex my time and that kind of thing. So I've been trying to flex my time, but certain weeks I can't do it. Like
so,
this week I wasn't.
so I guess my
able to.
question would be, can we move the meetings permanently to 4:30? The Board of Health meetings?
The issue we always had was the cable couldn't get here before 6 o'clock.
But can you get here at 4:30 now,
Depending on the day, yes.
on Thursdays?
We pay her in
Most
cookies, so.
Well, and she gets paid in cookies, and
She
you
gets
bake.
paid in cookies. Did you make cookies today for her?
Well,
The only issue is though, I'm restricted to 5 hours now with my new job. So if there's 2 meetings that week, which there usually is, one on Wednesday and one on a Thursday of your weeks, it might, depending if it's a long Board of Selectmen meeting. Sometimes I go for 3-4 hours and then I only have 1 hour left.
But it sounded like we had Zoom as an option as well.
Zoom is always an
So
option.
we're not constricted,
If-
like,
If
Sorry.
there's a day that I can't do it, it could always be recorded via Zoom, and then that all gets uploaded to YouTube by us too, so as long as it's recorded in some way.
Yeah, I think 4:30 is great.
I'd like to make a motion that we permanently move the Board of Health meetings to 4:30 on the second Thursday of every month,
Starting,
next month.
Second that.
I agree. Any discussion? Other discussion? Motion passes to move Board of Health monthly meetings to 4:30 PM, starting next month.
we'll have to let the clerk know. And then-
Hopefully that'll help with the overtime situation.
Well, it will, because a lot of it is prepping and getting set up, and, you know,
Yeah.
I go home for an hour and a half or whatever, and then I come back, so just to stay here and go right in. We're
Exactly.
prepped during our regular time, the meeting's set up, so it would cut back on the prep time.
And you driving all the way home and then driving all the way back.
Yeah, I'm only 2 miles away, but yes.
Yeah, but still.
But still, yeah.
The gas these days?
That's right, it's expensive, 2 miles.
Right.
Okay, inspector's report, animal inspector
She's not here tonight.
for the 4th month in the row.
I did send out a reminder. I have not been sending reminders to her. I did this week.
And did she acknowledge the
Today.
reminder?
I was in that training, so I did not check mine.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Leonard.
I think,
Mr. Hull?
I think there may be a amicable solution to this problem. And have that discussion with Mr. Mullen in regards to reorganization. There is another route, because there is a bylaw in regards to, well, it's a policy in regards to missing more than 3 meetings in a row. So, you could go that route too, but
Well, we just
that is
don't know
less
what's going
amicable.
on at
no,
all.
I get it, I totally get it, but you have 2 choices. You can reorganize it, or you can go the disciplinary letter route.
I guess I would do both, honestly.
That's
If
up
somebody's
to-
missed, but if somebody's,
That's up
I
to
mean,
you.
I will make, if I don't I don't know where your disciplinary action stuff goes, but if it's me and someone's missed 4 meetings in a row, it's part of their job, they should be
It
written
is
up.
part of their job.
So I'd like to make a motion that she be written up. Can I do that?
Well, yeah, I don't know how much this needs to be an executive session,
Oh, yeah,
as opposed to open session, because now you're
talking
determining
personnel.
disciplinary action.
Yeah, so it needs to go into executive session.
So we can
So
put it
make
on for
a
the
mo-
next agenda.
Put it on for next agenda. It's a part of somebody's position, then they should be here, unless they have a really good reason that they're not.
Town nurse,
Well, I'll just,
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
animal, I just will say that, she did have, there was some 4 pigs running around, somewhere, and,
Cause that's what Dayton's all about.
they found them, found who the owner was, and the owner was informed you can't have more than 3 because it's a piggery. So they would need a piggery permit, so had that. We also had a cow and a goat that got out of their pens and were in the neighbor's yard, and she put them back. But that is an issue we're still dealing with for them to keep their animals penned. They've escaped multiple times, and so she's working through that. She just keeps me informed on it,
but any reports? Any
No,
written
I'm
reports?
saying she's just been keeping me
Okay.
informed on it, so.
How about North Dayton issue with the chickens? What's going on with that?
I don't know about chickens.
Because I know they've made
Tremont
frequent
Street.
calls, and I've made 2 trips out there.
Oh, Tremont
myself.
Street. Oh, sorry. Yes, she's been out there and multiple times, and I've been by multiple times, and neither one of us has seen the chickens outside of their own yard, so it's very hard for us to, so we're reaching out to the person who's filing the complaints there's usually a time of day that chickens especially follow the same pattern, and so they can identify when it is, or if you have any pictures, then we have evidence, because right now you show up and all you see is feces on the deck or whatever, and it's like, well, I can't confirm that it was, a chicken and not a turkey or a guinea hen or whatever. So we've asked for some evidence so that we can pursue it further.
Well, I know I filed 2 reports the both times I went out, and I think that's the only thing that's in the folder, are my reports. And it's kind of hard if somebody, such as that person, continually calls, and you pull the folder, and there's nothing in it, and it's hearsay. So,
So again, I would say.
are we
executive session.
are we serving the residents of this town by not having things to back up? But we'll take that.
But is there protocol in place? Because if there's no protocol in place for somebody to follow with regards to their position, and I'm just saying this, if there's no protocol in place that says she needs to do that, then that needs to be taken into account as well.
I believe,
So if that's not if it's not written somewhere,
I believe it is. I think,
Well, I think we already have it on for executive session for
yeah,
next meeting.
okay, let's
These are things
just
you can
cancel
look
that
into
and handle it then.
yeah, so.
Okay, may we have the nurses
Wait a minute,
report?
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Miss-
I'm sorry, Leonard.
In regards to the animal inspector, Wednesday night, Bill Moore, who's an assessor, is going to come and make a presentation. And he's right on. One of the jobs of the assessor is a fence viewer and herder,
Field driver.
field driver. Long before there was a Board of Health or an animal control officer, this is in the 1800s, the town of Dayton came up with a policy with a field driver and fence viewer. Well, in regards to the field driver, when they created the animal control officer and the Board of Health, they never took the field driver position out. And we're going to need to do
Of
that.
assessor. Yeah.
Because those duties today, in the 21st century, belong to the Board of Health and the Animal Control Officer. So when it comes up Wednesday, I just wanted to give you a little heads up what it's about. They just never cleaned up the language, so you have two groups that are overseeing it, and the Board of Assessors wants to get rid of that job. They don't want to be chasing pigs and cows.
So field driver is
Oh
when the
my
animals were out loose,
Yep.
that they were to drive them back to the field that they belonged in.
Right. So it is
A little
still-
bit of history there, right?
So it's still on the books, so we gotta clean it up, so
Okay,
it'll be your responsibility. Your responsibility.
not my responsibility.
Thank you.
Okay, now may we hear from the town nurse?
Okay, so I'm gonna step down as a Board of Health member, and step up as the town nurse. So last month, we started, the distribution of the COVID tests through the Excellent Grant that we had received. Those are available at the Board of Health, Council on Aging, as well as the library, regular hours. From what I've heard from the Board of Health, it's slow going. Is it?
In prime time too.
Oh, Council on Aging, sorry.
Well, no, but they've sent some over to council on aging.
Oh,
too,
okay.
so.
It sounds like it's slow going, and that's what I had heard from other towns. I got an email today, we're gonna get more. I wish we wouldn't.
3.5 million.
I think
Yep.
I think it's too many. But I also had, Bella reach out to the Board of Health today in regards to someone at Lincoln Village was willing to help the residents learn how to administer the test to themselves. I thought that was great, but I also said that I think it would be great if I was there for that. So I'm gonna be an addition to this other individual that's going to teach the residents how to administer these tests. I'm also going to prime time to talk a little bit on emergency preparedness, because it's emergency preparedness month. I'm going to Lincoln Village again in October to speak about medication management. I really had a really nice time going there last time. Just a quick update on the booster for COVID. The old formula is no longer available. They now have a new formula. It's the combination between the original COVID strain and the two substrains of the Omicron, so BA.4 and BA.5, if you've been keeping track. I don't really know in regards to if you had gotten the original booster, how far you can get this new booster. I know if you got the original 2 shots or the 1 shot Johnson & Johnson, it's 2 months after you can get this new booster. I don't know from the other booster. There's so many boosters. I don't know. Please ask your primary care because I can't keep track of it. But there is a new one. The other one you can't get anymore. They've now taken it off the shelves. I had had a grant meeting. There's gonna be a capacity assessment coming through that Excellent Grants. This is just gonna, I'm guessing it's gonna go to you guys just because you'll be able to look through the past. I can't remember what years they said. It's gonna be pre-COVID years, and just kind of look at what we were getting done, and where we could use some help, in regards to this grant. I reached out about the flu clinic to the organization we had used previously last year. They actually just got back to me today, and we're looking at the end of October. I'm working with Mike, to figure out when would be best to have that.
Now, historically, the fire department has done one or whatever. Is this going to be one
Yes,
town one
last
instead of
year we
multiple
just
ones?
did this one.
Okay.
It wasn't very lucrative, but it was in December. That's very late to be having a flu clinic. So hopefully having it at the end of October we'll get more folks. And we'll have better communication with the Council on Aging and Lincoln Village. And maybe we can get some of those folks that maybe haven't got it with their primary yet. So that's all I have.
So from the health perspective too, the opiate settlement funds have come down.
Yes,
And
see,
they're
I
starting
don't
to
know
they're
anything
starting to
about
trickle
that.
in. But part of that meeting also is that fentanyl strips and Narcan are available for free for first responders now. So that could come out of the town's budget. The police chief and the fire chief can actually ask the state for the fentanyl strips and the Narcan for their agencies and at no cost now, as of right now.
I was under the impression that Narcan was always no cost.
No, well, I know we were buying it.
Oh,
Okay, but for the first responders to carry or to have, it is now available for free through the
Okay.
opiate settlement funds through the state. And it's just for first responders, so it'd be police, ambulance, fire. Are you going to the data walk on Tuesday?
No, I think I have something else on that same time.
I can fill you in if you want.
I believe that. I think I'm going to prime time.
So Charlene, I'm sorry, Narcan and what was the other?
Fentanyl strips.
Going for lunch.
Oh, and then I forgot also with prime time, I'm going to be doing blood pressure clinics. And I've been contributing to the Strawberry Vine. If anyone gets it and sees
I read it this morning. I got
Why do you get the Strawberry
because
Vine?
my mother
Oh.
works at prime time. My mother works at prime time.
forget
Yeah,
about
you
that.
send her over here to do your errands.
I do.
Do you have a tentative time for the blood pressure clinic?
I can't remember.
It's
I-
the third Tuesday.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
right.
if we set up a
Laura's
time.
new job is
I
at
knew
the
the day, but I
time.
don't know if we
I
set
know
up
Great.
a time.
October
She's like their office
Okay,
manager.
I'll have to ask about the time.
Oh,
And-
Fran's my mother, by the way.
Fran is your mom, I love
Don't you love these
She's
meetings?
so outgoing, I love her.
We have such great meetings here. Okay, back to, I'm sorry.
Oh, so I actually have a Maven call when that opioid Charlene thing is.
What?
When
The data walk
Yeah,
is
so that-
on Wednesday, the data walk
It's
is
on
on Tuesday
Tuesday.
at 11.
So I have a Maven call at that same time, but those are recorded, so I think that I can just do the data walk and then just listen to them.
If not, I can always just pull everything and just have them put it in the thing and I can email it to you.
Okay. I'll play it by ear. I'm not sure yet. All right, so that's my report. I'm stepping back up as
Great,
Board of
great
Health member.
report. Okay, and next inspector report would be building inspector. Commissioner, I'm sorry, building
Health
commissioner.
agent.
ABC.
Health agent, I'm trying to get out of here. Sorry, please, Mr. Pilling, our health agent, would you please report?
Yes, sure. So a triple E mosquito has been found in Berkeley
Oh.
a couple days ago. No human cases, no equine cases, but the mosquitoes are there, so it's only a matter of time until we're going to have mosquitoes here. When that happens, that's usually when we decide that we shut down playgrounds at dusk and that kind of stuff. And we'll get into that if we get to that point. Right now, I don't think we need to, but it's on the horizon, so be aware. Number two is we've been producing COVID reports, was weekly for the Board of Selectmen for a year or two now, and they went to every other week because the cases were down. Both Mrs. Mello and myself asked the town administrator if we could stop doing those reports because there's really not a lot of information that's in the reports. We could start up again if obviously there's a thing, but most people are home testing now, so they're not showing up. So, and out of the people boosted, it's only like 10% of the people that are vaccinated are boosted, so the information's not really
It's not
accurate.
valuable
Yeah.
at this point.
So we'd like to stop doing it. Mr. Mullen told me that the board needs to vote to have me stop doing those reports, in order for me to stop. So I'm looking to stop doing the reports and.
But will you still be at least looking at the data just to see if there's an uptick?
Well, no,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
looking at
Maven.
the data.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that goes to, okay.
Yeah, I
Alright.
look at it in Maven, and even if it's an uptick, there's no intervention that's
Yeah.
gonna be done.
No,
So-
we might do more PR about COVID tests being available
Yeah.
or something, but
But,
again,
yeah, I'm still monitoring it through Maven, it still comes in as a thing that I have to check off and all that good stuff, so.
I'll put it on the agenda for Wednesday. We'll take a vote on
okay, Mike told me the Board of Health had to vote
that. Oh,
to stop doing it. So again, it's the same as everything else, is who's the one that
Yeah, who's in
decides.
charge? It's like,
Well,
this is
no,
a
no,
whole,
no,
this is,
But I told
but
Mike
it-
that the selectmen asked for
Maybe I
it.
misunderstood. I heard you say the board, I didn't know if you meant
Oh.
your board or our board.
So the selectmen are the ones that asked me to do the reports, but
Right.
Mike said the Board of Health has to vote to have me stop.
yeah, but
Oh,
if they're
okay.
the ones who requested it, shouldn't they be the ones?
That's what I thought.
Okay,
So
I think they have to go, I think you have to go through them, because they're the ones who
that's what I
requested
think.
it.
So
So, yeah, you can put it on your agenda.
I don't.
Can you vote
We
on
don't
it
see
tonight? Or-
I vote that you put it on your agenda.
Okay,
Vote
Because
that
you-
the Board of Health,
I make a motion
Request.
that the Board of Health request of the Board of Selectmen that we cease and desist the reports. Unless it turns around and we have to start
cease
doing
and
it again.
desist, huh?
I guess.
May I
Thank
have
you.
a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you all.
Discussion, may we have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Then the only other thing I'll say is we've been decimated since about the end of July when we went into a drought with the number of perk applications coming in. A lot of new construction perks. It's just been a lot of perk tests. So it's putting me behind in doing other stuff like plan reviews, and we've got a lot of meetings. Solid waste has been taking up a lot of time there too. So it's, yeah, anyhow, I'm just behind. It'll stop once the summer kind of ends, then the new construction perk apps will slow down. But right now, we're booking into November.
Yes, Mr. Hull?
In light of the discussion about the overtime budget,
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine this is impacting the overtime budget. So this is the rationale for any need for an increase. Has there been any discussion about an impact fee or increase in that fee?
The perk fee, you mean?
Yes.
So Roz and I right now, we've gone through all of the office fees, not the transfer station fees, but all the office fees, and we've come up with what we are recommending, and we're gonna be putting it on the next agenda to give to them for our recommendations for the fees, because we're aiming for, thinking of January 1st for a rollout of new fees.
Because that's gonna be my rationale for an increase. Where we're gonna get the money, I don't know, but,
And the majority of these perks are new construction, right, Todd?
Yeah.
and it's gonna get worse.
So we've kind of talked about it, and repairs, we try to get in there ASAP, because they are repairs to existing houses. Repair the septic system, which you need a perk to.
Moratorium's gonna be ending as soon as Somerset says,
Sorry?
the moratorium on building is going to end as soon as Somerset says Dayton, you can have that Brook Street well.
So, yes, so if I had, say, more overtime, I guess then like these night meetings would be overtime, it would give me more time in the office and all that.
Exactly.
So it kind of all blends together. So the schools are just open, so I gotta go inspect all the kitchens and that kind of stuff, so it's time that I don't have. But other than that, I don't think there's much else to report.
We appreciate everything you do.
Oh, thank you.
We
Both of you.
definitely,
Thank
definitely.
you very much.
I couldn't do it
And I
without her.
appreciate the fact that you can realize that you are overwhelmed, and that you know, and you're professional enough to know that you have to prioritize. And if things get left by the wayside, the Board of Selectmen in the town has to understand they're two people.
No,
No, I'm just putting that out there.
And also,
Oh, hell,
the
look at that.
residents,
Two ends.
And my name's spelled right.
the residents hopefully understand too, that we have a very, very, very small office. And personnel doing a lot of work, and with the town growing, it's just, I can't say killing us, but smothering.
It's keeping us busy.
Extremely
It's
busy,
keeping,
extremely busy.
it's keeping the 2 employees of the Board of Health very, very busy.
Glad we have a nurse that's here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forget, that's right,
Yes.
part-time nurse, thank you.
Well, the nurse we had before was only just barely checking in on Maven, so we now have someone who's doing more, so it's less for us to deal with.
A
which
lot
is
more,
great.
yeah, with grants and other programs
But you're part-time,
outside.
correct?
Yes.
If you consider 3 hours a month part-time. It's like,
That's a
no, I think
lot.
it went up to 5, I think, when
Yeah.
you got the raise to $8,000.
Well, I know
a year,
ARPA
so.
funds pay for extra nursing in boards of health.
They do if we didn't already spend the ARPA funds.
Okay, but there's also
yes.
Bristol County ARPA funds as
Yep.
well.
And they also can give bonuses to the health agents,
Yes, they can. Yep, they sure can.
because Board of Health agents are quitting like wildfire.
Correct.
So bonuses keep them there. But most of our ARPA money has been earmarked already, so. Anyhow, so.
And is it for the health of the citizens of our town?
Mr. Hall can speak more. I know there's some sewer expansion going on. There was the purchase of the library, the ARPA funds.
No sewer.
No sewer? Was it water?
It was primarily for the library, some for the Pleasant Street Bridge, the repeaters and upgrades in communication for police and fire. That's all that's been expended to date. My understanding was that there were going to be discussions with Mrs. Catavia and Mr. Mullen regarding ARPA funds for the Board of Health.
Part-time helper,
Clerk, yeah.
short-time clerk, part-time, short-time clerk, which we definitely need a full-time clerk. Definitely, because it's, I mean, when I was feeling better and putting in 20 hours of work, they're not getting paid because the town didn't have funds. That's not right. That's not right for the chairman of the Board of Health to go down and do clerical help at the Board of Health because we don't have a clerk.
Now, is that going to be part of the discussion Wednesday night?
Well,
Or
I
is
hope
it
so.
just going to be
Yes,
just
no, that's a
job
big
description?
part of it.
My understanding was it was going to be reorganization and job description.
Because you can't write a job description unless you have the organization and what you're going to be doing.
Yes,
So that was first, and then the job description followed.
we worked on that tonight, previously at the workshop.
One of the players, one of the groups that will be involved is capital outlay, because the way we have so much money, both from the county and from the feds. And different requirements, different streams. The feds, we get the money before, and then we spend out. The county, you have to submit projects. Board of Selectmen, capital outlay, approve them. Actually, capital outlay first, Board of Selectmen, then we submit it to the county commissioners. They have the final approval of a project. So even though we approve it, they can nix it. And John Mitchell did say there have been some projects that they have said no because they have criteria they have to meet for the feds.
Yep.
So just because those that go through the county are approved by us doesn't mean they're approved yet. So don't.
Yeah, the ARPA regulations are about that fat. I have them in my office.
So, it's important to advocate. And Barbara, you have been advocating and you gotta continue.
I've tried to advocate.
Wednesday night,
Stone walls are big in this town.
well, Wednesday night you're all going, right?
I cannot go.
She
Okay.
cannot go, but
You
we
can.
are,
I was planning on going.
We got the posted then.
yes,
So,
we will be there, Leonard.
all right, I'll acknowledge anyone of the Board of Health that
Thank
wants to
you.
speak. I
Thank you.
will also allow, if you wanna reach out to him, because I have great respect for him and he served for 22 years in this town. If Mr. Pius wants, if you would like, or mention it to him that I will allow him to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If he raises his hand when we're involved in this
Mhm.
discussion, if that's okay with the members sitting here. So,
Well, it's a public meeting, anybody's allowed to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
No,
public
no, no,
meeting,
no,
but I
no,
mean, I think
no.
I think these folks are these folks are the professionals and they're the experts in what they do right now, so I don't wanna go back to yesterday when they're trying to move forward. So if he's from years ago,
well, that's what I'm saying.
I guess I'm confused on what you're saying.
Okay. As the chairman, I have discretion of who participates in discussions outside of public input.
Okay,
I can limit it to the parties that are directly involved, or I can open it up to the public.
okay,
What I'm saying to you is if this board is comfortable, I will open it up to Mr. Pires. If the board doesn't care, I will open it up to Mr. Pires. But I'm respecting the wishes of this board.
I guess I'm not understanding why we're asking for Mr. Pyre's opinion, is just my question.
think what he's
Because I don't know him.
I think what he's
22
saying is
years
if,
on the Board of
if
Health.
Tom wants
Oh.
to speak on behalf of the Board of Health, he'll let
Okay.
him speak outside of public input. is what
Okay,
he's saying.
it's all, I'm just,
If we want him
I
to.
haven't been involved in
Oh,
town
okay.
politics,
Yeah.
Mr. Hull,
Okay.
so you have to
Okay.
kind of give me a break if
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
asking
sure.
questions.
Yeah, no problem.
But if we don't
Tom's-
want him speaking on our behalf, he won't acknowledge him except during public input.
Right.
Okay,
That's what he's asking, so.
Mhm.
okay,
He's a big part of the organization of the Board of Health from its infancy.
and that's that's the explanation, I was just wondering, like, what his tie was, cause I'm,
Okay.
you know, I don't know.
He's like the George Washington of the Board of Health.
Okay,
Can we request to be early in the agenda by any chance?
Because some of us would prefer earlier.
It would
Specify.
help with not having
No,
more
I'm making
time
the agenda
be
tomorrow.
sitting there.
Well, that's just it. It's a matter of
Specify.
the longer I'm there, the less time I'm in the office, so that they'd rather be there the least amount of time.
How long?
Well, first would be nice, but.
6:15, 6 o'clock?
Well, say the
Following
earlier the better,
6
that
o'clock.
means the less time I'm
Mhm.
here, so, that's all.
Okay. Following, you'll be first on the.
That would be appreciated, thank you.
That would be wonderful.
Any more discussion?
Oh, so that was it for the agent's report there, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, next is building commissioner, but I know we did have a meeting earlier.
He did, and I think he had another one, but I don't think he had anything to throw out there.
Okay.
He didn't mention anything to us, so.
Public input?
I just have one question, clarification.
Of course.
Sean Urban, member at large or representative of the Board of Health on the salary
Member at
list?
large.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because Barbara is the member from the Board of Health.
Okay.
And Nicole just goes for fun.
Yeah, I just love solid.
Thank you.
Could we have, let me see, regular approval of minutes, for regular meeting, August 11th, 2022.
Did everybody have a chance to review them?
I do.
Does anybody have any changes they would like to make?
the only change that I had was with regards to the, committee business, I think I had sent you an email. I had sent you an email about, under the recommend the appointment of new member Sean Urban, I voted against tabling that. I did not vote for it, I voted against it.
What page do you want?
I'm on the first page. Right at the bottom. Cool.
Oh, okay.
I voted against, just that one, the other
But
ones
that's
I,
discussion about, the solid waste committee. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yep, gotcha.
I just wanted to make sure that that was clear that I voted nay to table it.
Yeah, something seems like it's missing in there. Cause that's a A, B, C, and then that must have been A. Yeah, that's weird, and then it just goes into approval of minutes. Something seems off. Yeah, I think we will have to table these minutes until the next meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to table the minutes until the next
Yeah,
meeting.
that was weird.
I second that.
Any discussion?
I don't think I checked this.
Could I have a vote, please?
Aye.
I vote aye.
Did you get different font sizes here and there?
Regular meeting, August 11th, approval of minutes, tabled to next meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
I second that.
Any discussion? The only thing that I think I want to talk about for a second,
Wait,
Is-
did we just adjourn?
oh, I'm sorry, no, oh, I'm sorry, okay,
Yeah, we're,
then I won't.
You adjourn or no? I thought you were still rolling.
there was a motion, there's no discussion, and the motion,
Okay,
We motioned, we didn't vote.
no, it's a discussion right now.
so we're not adjourned.
No, it's just a discussion right now. On the executive meeting, should we try to find a time now, or,
Well, our next meeting is scheduled for 4:30.
okay, well, remember we talked about executive?
Yeah,
We'll
no,
do
it'd be
it
at the
during
next
the-
meeting,
it
and
would
we
be
do it
during
during
the
that
meeting.
meeting.
Okay, we'll do it that
And
way.
whether you put it in the middle of the meeting, we come back, we'll work that out as we get closer, you do it at the beginning or the end, whatever, we
Okay.
can sort it out.
Okay, so,
We'll see what else is on the agenda that night.
work around it. Could I have a vote on adjournment, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.